A common mistake people make when buying a second-hand or a used car is thinking it's just about the looks and price. A lot of mistakes are made which end up costing the person buying the car. So to help, I made a list of 3 things to look out for when buying a used car. These will make sure you are happy after buying the car, whether you financed it or bought it cash. I have a separate video I want to do with regards to trade-ins. That seems to be something else car buyers don't fully have an understanding of. But obviously you guys have me, so make sure you're subscribed for when I drop that video. But yeah, here are the tips and tricks of buying a used car. Welcome to another video. Okay, first, this is unrelated, but if you ever want to resell a car, before buying it, just make sure it's one of those cars that hold their value really well. Much like the 7.5R, M140i or the E46. Some would argue the Polo GTI as well. Cause look at the benefits of buying a car that holds its value very well. 2008 model still costs more than a new fully spec'd Polo GTI. Anyway, that was just my 2 cents. So number 1, costs. Unlike a brand new car, a used car has done some kilometers, which would in some cases mean it has gone through services and most likely has no service plan or warranty remaining. Unless you are willing to deal with service and mechanic costs from your own pocket, it's important to factor in the fact that the car will need to go to service or major service at some point, and you will have to deal with those costs. Ways to prevent this is by A. Choose a car that has cover already, either by the original dealership or was added on by the last owner. This will at least give you a peace of mind of not worrying about service and warranty costs. It's even better if you can find a used car with a maintenance plan. Another way to prevent paying from your own pocket is by adding on service and warranty plan to your car. Of course, this means the finance amount will increase as this cost will be added to the total amount of the car. In a nutshell, used cars are almost never the price you see advertised because there is a possibility that you will need to top up the service and warranty plans, unless you will be okay with paying out of your own pocket. Also, with regards to this, I have met a lot of people who say they don't pay for service plans or warranty. They just save the money until it's time for the car to go to service. Anyone share the same sentiments? So number 2, the condition of the car. This includes the exterior and the interior, vehicle history, as well as the mechanical condition of the car. A quick glance method you can use to let you know how used the car is by the year model and mileage. Also, what is the definition of a fairly used car when it comes to mileage and year model? For me, it's a car that equals its expected kilometers. Let me explain. So, for example, most cars in South Africa are expected to do 15,000 kilometers a year or 1 service a year. So if the car is from January 2021, you expect the mileage to be at least around 60,000 kilometers or less today. And that for me is a fairly used car. If the same car was at 100,000 kilometers or around 7 services in 3 years, then you know the driver was traveling day and night with that car and not giving it any rest. The exterior and interior checks are visual, so we won't deep dive into this. But one thing I want to mention is that be aware of cars that have been in an accident. The vehicle history report will usually tell you if there was anything done to the car, like if it was fixed or repaired or those sort of stuff. So it's something you can request while window shopping. You can even ask the salesperson if anything was done to the car. That includes modifications, resprays and all of those stuff. Remember, they won't offer this information unless you ask, cause at that point they might lose a customer. There are some cases where someone might have took the car to their uncle under the tree and fixed it. That is why I normally advise people who do not know anything about cars to just buy cars from reputable dealerships and not just any dealerships. It's not 100%, but it's a safe caution to take. Other ways to spot accidents from cars is by checking the panel gaps. Usually it's hard to realign gaps if the car was in an accident, so it's not an easy thing to hide. Check this VW Tiguan, which shows a panel gap because the owner scraped the bumper, versus this one where there was no accident, and so the differences are visual. Other stuff to check are scratches, chip marks on the paint and windscreen. These are normally stuff you won't be able to see when you buy the car online, which is why I honestly don't advise anyone to do that unless you have someone to go check the car for you and make sure everything is proper. Lastly, the mechanical condition. This will usually have a report as well, which you can request. For example, the DECRA report. You should be able to read such reports, but this takes us into another point when it comes to the condition of the car, which is test driving. Make sure you test drive the car as you will drive it every day after buying it. If you will be doing pops and banks, rev it. If you will be speeding, tell the salesperson you want to go to the freeway and floor it. If you live in a place with gravel, tell the salesperson which gravel road do they know and test it on there. Because if you test it on the smooth freeway, when you live in the Bundus, and immediately you get there, the suspension gives in, you will cry tears. It's a simple way to figure out some mechanical issues with the car, inclusive of the gearbox, brakes and engine. Though you won't know every single thing, but it helps. We can go into more details if it's needed. And lastly, financing. I will be brief here. Sometimes dealerships will inflate the price of a used car, leading you to pay more than you could have somewhere else. Luckily, these days we have tools like AutoTrader to let you know if a car is priced way too high at a dealership compared to other dealerships. So it's just a step you have to take whereby you don't rush to apply and sign on papers, but take a deep breath, look at the market, look at how much the same car is going for in Johannesburg compared to Cape Town, weigh the options, because remember, you, the customer, are in control, not the person selling you the car. And that was it. If there is anything I left out, feel free to leave it in the comments. But until then, love and peace.